This is a short clip for educators working within the early years and implementing a Term 2 PLD program. I'd like to start first of all with some Term 2 teaching tips. Within the PLD process, the Term 2 skill focuses upon initial sound awareness. Now, some programs will call this alliteration. We call it initial sound awareness. And sometimes this program is not that well understood because out of the whole sequence, this Term 2 skill is the most critical skill within the whole sequence because success or difficulties or sometimes poor teaching at that Term 2 level focused upon this critical skill then has dire consequences as teachers try and step into semester 2. Successful teaching, successful learning in Term 2 sets up students to learn their alphabet sounds and also acquire blending skills. So the Term 2 skill, step 1 is to be able to hear, say and think about initial phonemes. And initially those phonemes are continuant or long sounds. L, n, r, v, z, long sounds. Quite obvious sounds too that can be stretched out. Following that are the short sounds p, t, t, j, k. These are short sounds, they're often quiet sounds, and the concept here is once a student has the ability to focus on those initial phonemes and be able to clearly identify them, say them, and think about those initial phonemes, they're ready for an alphabet sound program, but they're also ready and prepared to learn or start acquiring blending skills. This Term 2 skill is the beginning of structured synthetic phonics. It's when students move from phonological awareness and down to phonemic awareness, which is the more critical skill as a prerequisite to early reading and spelling. So again, those arrows pointing towards semester 2, we want to harness the learning in Term 2 so that when moving into semester 2, as many students as possible are set up for success. Over the years, PLD has tried to represent this complex Term 2 skill in a range of ways as a ladder, and we're stepping through the skills, but also, again, that initial sound awareness has that direct impact straight up to alphabet sound knowledge, but also across to blending. Teaching tip 1, model your mouth very clearly, which sometimes means you are slightly exaggerating the mouth. We're listening for the lips together sound, or we're listening today for the L, the tongue up sound, the tongue up and behind the teeth, L, because it would be possible to say we're listening for L, but I'd like you to make it super clear to these young literacy learners, L, and slightly exaggerate the mouth. Teaching tip 2, after exaggerating the mouth, pause for a second or two before articulating the sound. We're listening for the L sound and we're listening for the sound. Again, that will give children a little bit more time to catch up and focus on exactly what the teacher is instructing. It may be necessary for some people who've ordered the online courses to go back and watch instalment 2. In the online courses, instalment 1 is term 1, instalment 2 is term 2, instalment 3 is term 3, instalment 4 is term 4. And if you've had a really quick watch right through the whole course, it may be useful to come back within term 2 and just focus on instalment 2. Now for some tips on the screening and tracking. I can't recommend strongly enough a commitment to the screening rather than just to the teaching. You want to teach repetitively the skill, but also we have a 45-second, 1 minute long sub-test here. We've got a picture of a fish, a jug, a hat, a van and a bike. What do each of them start with? We want students to look at the picture and say, oh, to be able to articulate the sound. And if they're able to articulate the sound, they're ready to start learning the alphabet and blend. I also recommend a commitment to the tracking sheets, and that moves from paper-based testing into how is my whole class doing, and reporting on their progress. Once in the tracking sheets, it is essential to then reorganise your group, your range of scores into targeted teaching groups. So in this particular class, we have 2 students that are back still learning their term 1 skill. We have a range of students in that middle group that initial sound awareness is emerging, but they need a little bit more skill development, and then they can move into SAT-PIN. And then our top students have already demonstrated initial sound awareness, and they are actually ready to move into SAT-PIN and onset and rhyme blending. Remember, initial sound awareness sets up our young children for success in semester 2. Contact the office if you have completed the online training or attended a seminar and still require support with your teaching, screening or tracking. We would be more than happy to assist. All the best for term 2.